It's exactly 100 days until the U.S. elects a new president. 4 years after his shock victory over Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump is hoping for a second term. But he is trailing in the polls to Democratic challenger Joe Biden after his popularity slipped badly during the COVID-19 crisis. Let's discuss this with Peter Mathews. He's a professor of political science at Cypress College in California. That's where he's joining us from. Thanks very much for speaking to us on the Al Jazeera News Hour. So Trump is trailing Biden, according to the latest polls, in Florida, Michigan, and Arizona. And these are key states to win the 2020 election. How significant is this?
It's very significant because he won Florida last time. He also won Arizona. But the key states are the Midwestern ones. Michigan, as you mentioned, also Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, those swing states. He's behind in all of them by almost double digits. Between 9 and 11 points, he's behind Biden in those key states, which he cannot win unless he wins them. And Florida is the big one as well. He said he's behind 5 points behind Biden in Florida. It doesn't look good at this point.
So as coronavirus deaths and cases continue to increase, Trump's approval ratings seem to decrease. At least the polls seem to suggest that there's a correlation there. If the virus continues on the path that it is, unchecked and uncontained in the U.S., what does this mean for Trump's re-election chances?
The coronavirus pandemic is the #1 issue right now among all the voters. In fact, if you look at the rating of the different issues, the American voters say that 29% of them say that it's the coronavirus is the #1 issue for them, and 15% is the next one in line, the economy. It's quite a gap there, and so the coronavirus is having the major impact on where the president's numbers have been dipping and going quite a bit down than what they were, like, say, a few months ago. So it's a big thing, and I think he has to turn that around. The coronavirus, he has to have a success, like perhaps a vaccine that's developed and that becomes effective. Then something like that could give him a chance to win those swing states, possibly, and pull this off. It doesn't look likely, but if he can do that, then it'll work.
And on the issue of the economy that you brought up, I mean, up until recently, he has had a lead over Biden when it comes to issues of the economy. And his economy is that he had overseen a very successful one prior to the pandemic. So is that argument going to resonate with voters going forward?
It did for a while until the coronavirus took it over. And his economy was one in which there was a low unemployment, official unemployment rate. So people felt that things were picking up in the economy. But now the coronavirus has overshadowed everything else. And plus, the coronavirus is a major factor in the economy. Without being able to go to work or go to school, this is having a major impact on the economy downward, a negative impact. And we have something like 30 million people unemployed right now who need unemployment insurance. And the Congress hasn't passed that yet. So Trump's in charge of the whole government. He should be pushing that through. And this is a problem for him with American voters right now.
What about the situation over in Portland? Because polls do seem to suggest as well that Americans are unhappy with his handling of race relations. So to what extent is what's happening in Portland and the protests there affecting or influencing voters?
It's having a major impact. It starts off with the tremendous number of African-American men and also women who were shot and killed by police in the last several years, culminated with George Floyd's brutal killing. And now you have this in Portland, where they were protesting the George Floyd death and racism. And for 2 months, the Portland protesters were out there non-violently, no problem. And then the federal agents were sent in and things got really out of hand. And this is seen by many people in America as a divisive issue where the anti-Trump people have been galvanized to vote because of what's happening in Portland with the federal agents there. And the pro-Trump people are galvanized to vote also because of what's happening there. They're on the side of the sending the agents in there. So it's very problematic for the country right now, and it's having a major impact on the election.
All right, Peter Mathews, thank you for joining us on Al Jazeera.
My pleasure. Thank you.